Okay, since tapos na tayo sa concepts, let us now apply the concepts that you have learned. Problem number 1. Valuation of contributions of partners. Ang requirement dito ay provide the journal entry to record the partner's contributions. Mr. Sun and Miss Moon formed a partnership. Their contributions are as follows. Additional information: only 80% of the accounts receivable is deemed collectible. The land is stated at original cost. The fair value is 1 million pesos. The partnership assumes a 250,000 pesos unpaid mortgage on the land. Miss Moon acquired the equipment on a long-term financing basis. Miss Moon promised to pay the unpaid principal balance of 80,000 pesos using her personal funds. The equipment is under-depreciated by 30,000 pesos. Requirement: provide the journal entry to record the partner's contributions. Here, sa problem na to, kailangan muna nating i-compute yung contributions ng partners bago tayo makapag-provide ng journal entry. Unahin nating i-compute yung contribution ni Mr. Sun. Mr. Sun invested cash na 400,000 pesos. Ilalagay na natin siya, 400,000 pesos. Mr. Sun also invested accounts receivable na 250,000 pesos. Yun nga lang, only 80% of the accounts receivable is deemed collectible. That means, hindi natin isasama yung 20% na uncollectible. So, 250,000 pesos times 80%, that is equal to 200,000 pesos. Ilagay na natin yung 200,000 pesos. 400,000 pesos plus 200,000 pesos, that is equal to 600,000 pesos. How about Miss Moon? Si Miss Moon, meron siyang ininvest na lupa, land. Ang cost ng land ay 750,000 pesos. Pero ang fair value ay 1 million pesos. Land is a non-cash asset. So therefore, ang susundin ay fair value, 1 million pesos. Ilagay na natin yung 1 million pesos. However, yung land merong 250,000 pesos unpaid mortgage. At sinabi dito sa problem na the partnership assumes a 250,000 pesos unpaid mortgage on the land. Since assumed yan ng partnership, i-deduct natin yung unpaid mortgage na 250,000 pesos. So ilagay na natin minus 250,000 pesos. Take note, kahit merong unpaid mortgage na 250,000 pesos, kung hindi yan inassume ng partnership, huwag nyong ibabawas. Sir, what if silent yung problem? Kapag silent yung problem, assume na hindi siya inassume ng partnership. That means ignore. Aside from land, meron ding equipment. Ang book value ng equipment ay 180,000 pesos. Yun nga lang, sabi dito sa problem, the equipment is under-depreciated by 30,000 pesos. Kung under-depreciated siya ng 30,000 pesos, that means overstated ang equipment. So therefore, ibabawas natin yung 30,000 pesos sa 180,000 pesos. 180,000 pesos minus 30,000 pesos, that is equal to 150,000 pesos. So idadagdag na natin yung 150,000 pesos. 1 million plus 150,000 pesos minus 250,000 pesos, that is equal to 900,000 pesos. Therefore, the total partnership capital is equal to 1,500,000 pesos. 600,000 pesos plus 900,000 pesos, that is equal to 1,500,000 pesos. Take note, hindi binawas yung 80,000 pesos na unpaid principal balance kasi hindi siya inassume ng partnership. Kaya in-ignore natin yung 80,000 pesos. Since na-compute na natin yung capital contributions ng partners, we can now provide the journal entry. Debit cash, 400,000 pesos. Debit AR, 200,000 pesos. Debit land, 1 million pesos. And debit equipment, 150,000 pesos. Credit mortgage payable, 250,000 pesos. Credit Sun Capital, 600,000 pesos. And Credit Moon Capital, 900,000 pesos. Next, problem number 2. Here, we will still use the previous problem. In this problem, there is an additional information. It says here that the partners agreed to share in profits and losses equally. A partner should make an additional contribution in order for the partner's capital balances to reflect the partner's equal interests in the partnership. The requirement is which partner should make an additional contribution and by how much. Sinabi dito sa problem na the partners agreed to share in profits and losses equally. That means ang profit or loss ratio ni Mr. Sun ay 50% at ang profit or loss ratio ni Miss Moon ay 50%. In order to answer the question which partner should make an additional contribution and by how much, kailangan nating i-compare yung minimum capital required for each partner sa kanilang actual contributions. Again, we need to compare the minimum capital required for each partner with their actual contributions. Let's determine first if the actual contribution of Miss Moon is deficient or not deficient. Para malaman natin kung yung actual contribution ni Miss Moon ay deficient or not deficient, kailangan nating gamitin yung capital ni Mr. Sun. Take note, use the capital of the other partner. At yung other partner dito ay si Mr. Sun. Na-compute na natin to kanina. Ang capital ni Mr. Sun ay 600,000 pesos. After that, i-divide natin yung 600,000 pesos ng 50%. Take note, yung 50% dito ay yung profit or loss ratio ni Mr. Sun. Take note, this is not the profit or loss ratio ni Miss Moon, but rather profit or loss ratio ni Mr. Sun. 600,000 pesos divided by 50%, that is equal to 1,200,000 pesos. Next, imumultiply natin yung 1,200,000 pesos ng 50%. Take note, yung 50% dito ay yung profit or loss ratio ni Miss Moon. Take note, hindi ito yung profit or loss ratio ni Mr. Sun. Profit or loss ratio ito ni Miss Moon. Now, pwede na nating makompute yung minimum capital required of Miss Moon. 1,200,000 pesos times 50%, that is equal to 600,000 pesos. And that is the minimum capital required of Miss Moon. Iko-compare na natin yung minimum capital required of Miss Moon sa kanyang actual contribution. Ang actual contribution ni Miss Moon ay 900,000 pesos. Dahil mas mataas yung actual contribution ni Miss Moon kaysa dun sa minimum capital required, this means that the actual contribution of Miss Moon is not deficient. Therefore, Miss Moon's actual contribution is not deficient. Next, how about Mr. Sun? Para malaman natin kung magbibigay ng additional contribution si Mr. Sun at kung magkano, kailangan nating gamitin yung capital ni Miss Moon. Use the capital of the other partner. Ang capital ni Miss Moon ay 900,000 pesos. I-divide natin yan ng 50%. Take note, yung 50% na yan ay profit or loss ratio ni Miss Moon at hindi profit or loss ratio ni Mr. Sun. 900,000 pesos divided by 50%, that is equal to 1,800,000 pesos. Next, imumultiply natin yung 1,800,000 ng 50%. This time, yung 50% na ginamit natin ay profit or loss ratio ni Mr. Sun. Pwede na nating makompute yung minimum capital required of Mr. Sun. 1,800,000 pesos times 50%, that is equal to 900,000 pesos. Iko-compare na natin yan dun sa actual contribution ni Mr. Sun. Ang actual contribution ni Mr. Sun ay 600,000 pesos. Dahil mas mababa yung actual contribution ni Mr. Sun kaysa sa minimum capital required, therefore, Mr. Sun should make an additional contribution of 300,000 pesos. In other words, Mr. Sun's actual contribution is deficient by 300,000 pesos. Now, we can already answer the requirement which partner should make an additional contribution and by how much. The answer is Mr. Sun should make an additional contribution of 300,000 pesos. Sino yung magbibigay ng additional contribution? Si Mr. Sun. How much? Of course, 300,000 pesos. Yung 300,000 pesos, that is the difference between 900,000 pesos and 600,000 pesos. Next, problem number 3. Bonus on initial investments. Here, we will still use the information provided in problem number 1. However, in this problem, there is additional information. It says here, assume that the partners agreed to have equal interests in the partnership's equity and profit and losses. The partners' initial capital credits should reflect this agreement using the bonus method. Requirement: provide the journal entry to record the partners' contributions. Sabi dito sa problem, assume that the partners agreed to have equal interests in the partnership's equity and profit and losses. In other words, the profit or loss ratio of Sun is 50%, and the profit or loss ratio of Moon is 50%. Ang sabi pa dito sa problem, the partner's initial capital credits should reflect this agreement using the bonus method. Ang ibig sabihin niyan ay 50% ng total partnership capital ay mapupunta sa Sun Capital at yung other 50% ng total partnership capital ay mapupunta sa Moon Capital. Kasi sabi niya, the partners' initial capital credits should reflect this agreement using the bonus method. Kung 50-50 yung profit or loss ratio, that means yung paghahatian or kung paano hahatiin ng partners ang kanilang capital contribution should also be 50%. 50% ng total partnership capital ay mapupunta kay Sun. At yung other 50% ng total partnership capital ay mapupunta kay Moon Capital. Let us now provide the journal entry. Debit cash, 400,000 pesos. Debit accounts receivable, 200,000 pesos. Debit land, 1 million pesos. Debit equipment, 150,000 pesos. Credit mortgage payable, 250,000 pesos. Of course, magkaiba na yung amount sa Sun Capital at Moon Capital dito sa problem na to at yung Sun Capital at Moon Capital dun sa problem number 1. Because, remember, under the bonus method, any increase in the capital credit of a partner is deducted from the capital credit of the other partners. And of course, vice versa, any decrease in the capital credit of a partner is added to the capital credit of the other partners. So here, we need to credit Sun Capital. And how much? Remember, ang ating total partnership capital ay 1,500,000 pesos. Imumultiply natin yan sa profit or loss ratio ni Sun. Ang profit or loss ratio ni Sun ay 50%. So that means 1,500,000 times 50%. 1,500,000 times 50%, that is equal to 750,000 pesos. Next, credit Moon Capital by how much? The total partnership capital is 1,500,000 pesos. We will multiply that by the profit or loss ratio of Moon, and that is 50% also. So that means 1,500,000 times 50%, that is equal to 750,000 pesos. Remember, yung entry natin sa problem number 1 ay credit Sun Capital 600,000 pesos. But under the bonus method, ang credit nating Sun Capital ay 750,000 pesos. So here, there is an increase in the capital credit. Recall also that in our entry in problem number 1, ang credit natin ay Moon Capital 900,000 pesos. But here, ang credit natin sa Moon Capital ay 750,000 pesos. Meaning to say, there is a decrease in the capital credit of Moon. At yan na yung sinasabi nating bonus method. Any increase in the capital credit of one partner is deducted from the capital credit of the other partner. Or vice versa, any decrease in the capital credit of a partner is added to the capital credit of the other partner. Let's proceed to problem number 4, variation to bonus method, cash settlement between partners. Still, ang gagamitin nating problem ay problem number 1. Meron nga lang additional information. It says here, assume that the partners agreed to have their capital accounts initially credited at equal amounts. Cash settlement shall be made between the partners. Requirement A. Provide the compound journal entry to record the partners' contributions. And B. Provide the simple journal entries to record the partners' contributions. Let's first answer requirement letter A. Of course, common sense. Ang ating journal entry dito ay yung ating journal entry sa number 3. Let's just rewrite. Debit cash, 400,000 pesos. Debit accounts receivable, 200,000 pesos. Debit land, 1 million pesos. Debit equipment, 150,000 pesos. Credit mortgage payable, 250,000 pesos. Credit Sun Capital, 750,000 pesos. And credit Moon Capital, 750,000 pesos. Let us compare the actual contributions and capital credits of the partners. Ang actual contribution ni Mr. Sun ay 600,000 pesos. Ang kanyang capital credit ay 750,000 pesos. Si Miss Moon naman, ang kanyang actual contribution ay 900,000 pesos. Ang kanyang capital credit ay 750,000 pesos. Ang difference ng actual contribution at capital credits ay either a receipt or a payment. Kung mas mataas yung actual contribution kaysa sa capital credit, the result is receipt. Pero kung mas mababa yung actual contribution sa capital credit, ang result ay payment. Since mas mababa yung actual contribution ni Mr. San kaysa sa kanyang capital credit, there is a payment of 150,000 pesos. Si Miss Moon naman, dahil mas mataas ang kanyang actual contribution kaysa sa kanyang capital credit, there is a receipt. Therefore, Mr. Sun pays Miss Moon 150,000 pesos, or Miss Moon receives 150,000 pesos from Mr. Sun. But take note, this transaction is not recorded in the partnership books or in the books of the partnership. Let us now answer requirement letter B. Provide the simple journal entries to record the partner's contributions. Unahin nating i-record yung contributions ni Sun. Debit, cash, 400,000 pesos. Debit accounts receivable, 200,000 pesos. And credit Sun capital, 600,000 pesos. Next, i-record naman natin yung contributions ni Moon. Debit land, 1 million pesos. Debit equipment, 150,000 pesos. Credit mortgage payable, 250,000 pesos. And credit Moon capital, 900,000 pesos. How about the simple journal entry to equalize the capital balances of the partners? Debit Moon capital, 150,000 pesos, and credit Sun capital, 150,000 pesos. Basically, yung mga amounts dito ay yung difference between the actual contributions of the partners and the capital credits of the partners. Bakit natin dinebit yung Moon capital? Kasi nag-decrease yung capital ni Moon from 900,000 to 750,000 pesos. Bakit natin credit yung Sun capital? Credit natin yung Sun capital na 150,000 pesos kasi nag-increase ang Sun capital from 600,000 pesos to 750,000 pesos. That's why ganyan ang ating entry. Debit Moon capital, 150,000 pesos, and credit Sun capital, 150,000 pesos. Next, problem number 5. Variation to bonus method, additional investment or withdrawal. We will still use the information provided in problem number 1. However, there is another additional information here. Assume that the partners agreed to have their capital accounts initially credited at equal amounts. A partner shall provide additional investment or withdraw part of his investment in order to equalize the balances of the partner's capital accounts. Requirement: which partner shall make an additional investment and which partner shall withdraw part of his or her investment. In order to answer the requirement, kailangan nating i-compare yung actual contributions ng partners sa kanilang capital credits. Ang actual contribution ni Mr. Sun ay 600,000 pesos at ang kanyang capital credit ay 750,000 pesos. Si Miss Moon naman, ang kanyang actual contribution ay 900,000 pesos at ang kanyang capital credit ay 750,000 pesos. Kung mas mataas ang actual contribution kaysa sa capital credit, there is a withdrawal. Pero kung mas mababa yung actual contribution kaysa sa capital credit, there is an additional investment. Therefore, si Mr. Sun, mag-i-invest siya ng 150,000 pesos at si Miss Moon naman ay magwi-withdraw ng 150,000 pesos. Mr. Sun shall invest an additional 150,000 pesos while Miss Moon shall withdraw 150,000 pesos.